2, 1.
What's up, Schmucks? Welcome back to the show, episode 4, here with Andrew, Greg, Will, Ryan Hill, and a very special guest, good friend of mine, retired professional UFC fighter, Ryan Laflare. How we doing, guys?
Doing good. Can't be better. We got our first big guest.
Yeah, very exciting. Ryan, how's quarantine going for you?
Good. Really good. As you can see, I got the behind me. I'm ready to jump.
That's something I gotta be on.
I'm ready to make the jump right now, guys.
And we got Wheezy change his picture because he's too cheap to buy a camera. He changed it from Wheezy to now he looks like a quarantine lion.
Don't be calling out the shots, right? Just because I look like a lesbian doesn't mean I am.
Okay. We want to get right into the questions for Ryan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it. Okay. So Ryan, I'm really curious, how did you really get your start in MMA and whichever other fighting that you got involved in? Like how did you actually like get your interest in that to start?
Well, I was always a badass, you know. I used to always
You seem like it, I see it.
Yeah, I used to always like just beat people up, but you know, I wasn't a bully, but if I would take care of business when I had to.
Mm-hmm.
And no, but I've been wrestling since I was a kid. I was always a little undersized, you know, so I always had to, fight for my keep, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm from Lindenhurst, and there was a couple older guys that were like getting into MMA, but they were like kind of doing it for the wrong reasons. They were kind of robbing people on the street and learning the techniques. They kind of took me under their wing, but they ended up going to jail and doing bad things with it. And I ended up going to college, and I took it to the next level. And then I became in the UFC and
awesome.
Took it there,
Yeah, that's great. That sounds crazy. It's good that like you didn't go along that bad path. I found that interesting that you really made something out of it, which is hard for a lot of guys to do. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's just as much work as someone wants to be a professional football or baseball player. I got my ass kicked. I did it for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Get my ass kicked, but it's kind of like only the strong survive type of thing.
Yeah,
definitely. So what was it like going from like Ring of Combat to UFC? Is it like going from like college football to like the pros? Is there like a big difference between like the talent?
Well, I'd say from my first professional fight, there was a huge difference. But like right before I went to the UFC, I was fighting guys who were in the UFC anyway. I was fighting that's usually how it goes. You kind of you always fight someone up to your level. So right before I got signed, I fought a guy who fought Johnny Hendricks, who went toe to toe and lost a split decision to Johnny Hendricks. And right before 2 fights before I fought him. So it wasn't I wasn't fighting guys who were bums.
Right.
But I was knocking everyone out. I was 7-0 with all 7 knockouts and submissions. And then
that's great.
I went to the UFC, and to be honest, like my first fight in the UFC was a kind of a bum. It was some kid from Australia. He was getting all yapping with me, and I fought him in Sweden. My second fight was this guy Santiago Ponzinibbio, who's ranked like number 4 in the world right now.
Wow,
that's pretty cool. It's definitely
insane.
Cool to be able to tell your kids that when they're older and stuff like that, and carry that with you.
Yeah, I fucked him up too, though.
There we go. We love that.
That's awesome. That. Yeah. Now, wait, I just want to get a little clarification here. So I was seeing, I looked on the official UFC site.
Yeah.
You put your record at 13-3. And then on another one, it said 14-3.
14-3.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure. There was like a little discrepancy there. I wanted to hear from you.
Wait, UFC has it at 13-3? Wow.
Yeah, the UFC. Yeah, the UFC. Yeah, you got to contact Dana White. What's going on?
Yeah.
It says 13-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. On another one, it said 14-3, but I'll definitely take your word for it. You're a badass.
Yeah, they're all sanctioned fights, so there should be no discrepancy there.
I don't know. Dana White's got something going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
So the question, like the biggest that I have, we've talked about like a couple moments before, but what was like the highest point of your career and like the lowest? Like, the best, most memorable, and then like the worst. Like I wish that didn't happen.
It's easy for the lowest. When you get knocked out cold, it's never
Yeah.
it's an easy low. And of course, my first time ever getting knocked out was not like it happened a lot, but the one time I got knocked out was, of course, when I fought in Long Island in front of thousands of my friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me, and it was actually that was the day you had that the day of my graduation party, and me and Dan were sitting down watching it because he was like, "Oh, my neighbor's Ryan is fighting today." But like we watched him, we were like, "Oh God."
Yeah, it sucks.
In Long Island too.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I mean, it doesn't affect me as much as people think it affects me. You know what I'm saying? I know what what you sign up for.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It happens to everybody, but it's it's kind of what you make of it afterwards. And I was fine. You know what I mean? Like I was winning the fight. I was beating the guy.
Mm-hmm. I saw you were throwing some good punches in there. You throwing some nice haymakers.
Yeah, it was easy, but it was going. Everything goes good until it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Oliveira.
Laflare, yep.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, Ryan, you fought at the first match at the first fight at Barclays Center, UFC 208. The fight pass prelim against Carnero. Speak about like how that affected you. Obviously, I watched the interview a couple times, and you look pretty emotional after the win, and how that just came about.
Which fight you took? My Rowan Carnero fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, that was like the first fight at the Brooklyn card, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that guy was he was a shit talker too, so I had to put a smacking on him. And then afterwards he was like talking shit afterwards, but I killed him every single round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I mean I'm only mad about my UFC is that I never really finished anybody really in the UFC. I had 7 finishes going into the ring in combat.
Yeah.
And I'm going into the UFC, and in the UFC, I'm known as being this finisher, and I never had all my wins were all decision wins.
Yeah, 7 decisions, right? 7 decisions for 4 KOs and 3 submissions.
7 decisions, 4 KO, and 3 submissions. Yeah.
Wow. So
wins a win though.
Exactly.
Wins a win.
So you bring up like guys who shit talk and everything. Yeah. I'm always curious, like even like in the really big fights, like you see like McGregor. McGregor is obviously probably the biggest shit talker in all of UFC.
Yeah.
So my question is some of that is a good amount of that real or is it fake?
No, I mean it's entertainment, but of course it's fighting, man. You know what I mean? Like you can only talk
without a doubt.
You can only talk so much. So I mean, it has to be real. It's not wrestling, because like you have to eat what you say, and that's really. I mean, if I could go back, I probably would have talked a little more shit because, like, I fought like the best fighters in the world. Every single person I fought was a ranked opponent in the UFC. I never fought any bums, and it never really got me anywhere. I fought Damian Maia in the main event once, but I should have just talked shit. I was always afraid to eat my own words, but sometimes if you go out there and you don't perform, you're gonna eat your own words no matter what.
Yeah.
So you're better off, going out on your sword.
Now,
that's true.
Speaking of McGregor, have you met him before? Like, is he really just like a complete douche? And is he actually as good of a fighter as he appears to be?
No, yeah, he's the real deal. I wouldn't say I know. I wouldn't say I know him and like I'm friendly with him. But me and him both had our UFC debut on the same day. We fought. I was like the 5th fight overall, and he was the 6th fight overall. We fought back to back, and I talked to him a bunch of times over there. He was a really nice dude, but that was before he was famous. And then I fought on my last fight was on the same card, was on his cards too. I see him. He seems like a nice guy, but I think that guy has a talent. He's really talented. He's really good at promoting the fight. He earns every cent that he makes. I think I don't take anything away from him.
He's really good at hyping up the fight using his trash talking skills. Very, very, very good. And I was gonna ask something. I was gonna ask, your fighting style is it just? Do you just do jiu-jitsu, or do you have you learned multiple fighting styles? Or
did you watch my fights?
I haven't watched any of the fights, no, because I personally don't know anything about UFC. I'm very much I'm very much noob to this whole sports thing. So
yeah, no one in the UFC can be just one style. You can't be.
Yeah,
You know, it's kind of like saying you're a baseball player, but you could only catch. You know, you can only catch passes that go over your balls that go over your right shoulder. Everything else is kind of like good luck.
now, for people who, such as me, who don't know those other fighting styles, what are the names of them? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is what I do for a living.
Of course.
So it's kind of like so you got boxing, you got kickboxing. Kickboxing would be like a Muay Thai, which is like the art of 8 limbs. So you fight with your elbows, your hands, your knees, and your shin. So that's 8. You got your 8 limbs there, and then you got wrestling.
Of course.
And then you got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And and then you got then you really got just the combination of it all. You got the cage wrestling, which is different than everything. But as you see like the sport develop, it was kind of when UFC first started. It was like okay, let's see, let's put the karate guy versus the jiu-jitsu guy. Let's put the taekwondo guy versus the wrestler, and it was kind of like in the very beginning it was like jiu-jitsu was like overcame everything, and the jiu-jitsu guys were killing everybody.
Yeah.
And then the wrestlers started killing the jiu-jitsu guys, and then the strikers started killing the wrestlers. So now it's the development of the development of this sport. So now, it's kind of like you have to have a little bit of everything. That the jiu-jitsu guys is kind of just something. There's a few like specialists that are really good, but now it's like really good strikers with good wrestling that are just fucking everybody up now.
Yeah. So what would you categorize your styles as?
Well, I started. It's funny because I started as a wrestler, and then I got really good at jiu-jitsu. But then towards my last 5 fights, I was more of a striker, and that's what I focus mostly on my striking. And I'm the head striking coach at my gym, Long Island MMA.
Yeah. And
jiu-jitsu is fun until you learn how to punch, and then punching. It's a lot easier to do. You don't have to touch anybody.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So we could talk about Dan. Do you want to talk about the island, or you want to get into 229?
Well, I know I have
249.
Sorry. I have one more question for Ryan, real quick, and it sounded like Andrew might as well.
Yeah.
So we mentioned your record and your styles and everything during your career. What are you doing after your career, like post fighting? You mentioned you have the gym. Is there anything else that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I have. I have 2 gyms. They're both Long Island MMA, and then I have my kava bar out in Patchogue, which is pretty interesting thing. I'm the first one in Long Island. No one knows what it is.
Yeah, Dan was telling me a little bit about it. Seems interesting.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. So when I was living in Florida, these bars are all over the place, and it's kind of like a tea. It comes from a pepper plant, so they grind up the root from this tea. And I'm from this plant, and they make I wouldn't say a tea. It's not hot or anything. It kind of almost tastes like mud, but when you drink it, it kind of makes your mouth numb and tingly, and it kind of like it. The feeling is pretty much like having 4 beers. So you feel nice, but you're not drunk. You know what I mean? Like you're not. It's not like disabling your vision or your ability to drive a car and stuff. But you're like, I feel nice. It kind of takes the edge off.
Yeah.
It's a totally natural, cool way of kind of stepping outside and kind of winding down,
Yeah. No. So I mean, like coming from UFC and your athletic type of background, right. Is like stepping out into that area of work, like with the leaves, with the tea or whatever it actually is called. Does that have like a health benefit kind of?
No, I mean,
no? Or is it just kind of like a fun thing?
Everybody thinks it's like a health thing. I mean, it's healthy. It's healthier than beer and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we have healthy teas there, but for the most part, you drink this stuff. It's kind of like an alcohol alternative. It's kind of like a hangout spot. You drink that in kratom. I don't know if you know what kratom is either.
No,
it's like another tea. It's we make it as a tea, but it comes from the coffee plant. So they grind it up, and it has like a bunch of different like benefits to it. Like it has pain relief benefits, it has like anti-anxiety benefits. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like
that sounds cool.
It makes you feel nice. No,
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you take most like 90% of the people take it because they like the way it makes you feel. You know what I mean? But it also has it has some some health benefits as well. You guys got to come in and give it a shot.
Definitely will do. Maybe we could even get it onto the podcast. Maybe like advertise it a little bit and everything. Kind of you help us, we help you, kind of thing. And
for sure, man.
That would be kind of cool. Now,
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. So also with the Long Island MMA, how is the business actually like? What are you doing right now with the whole COVID-19?
Nothing. I'm losing I'm losing big time. You know, I mean, that's my main income right now, and I've been closed since like mid March. So you know, we applied for a shitload of loans, but you know they're giving us pennies, but hopefully they let us open back up pretty soon because these Cuomo guys at Big Jo.
Oh, I feel you. I feel you, dude. I feel you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm over this shit. I'm ready to get back to work and fucking I'll take my chances with this disease, whatever it is they call it.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, we're lucky enough compared to a lot of other people where we have the neighborhood surrounding us, where we're not completely isolated like ever.
Yeah, it's still getting rough. I mean, it's taking money out of my pocket. You know, I know a lot of people are cool with getting this unemployment check, the few $100, but you know, I'm not cool with that. You know.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. We want to get into a Fight Island a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not really that familiar with. I mean, Dan mentioned about it. I don't really know what the hell. So I have a few friends. Obviously, a lot of my friends are still in the UFC still, and you know, this kid Brian Keller, who I train, he's fighting next weekend, and then I got Caitlin Chikagian, who just fought for the belt. She's fighting at the end of the month, but you know. It's not going to be a Fight Island. I'm asking them about it because I don't know anything about it. And they're like, nah, I mean, I haven't heard anything. I think it's just, I think
it's Dana White. Just Dana White trying to promote more fights because
he's probably just trying to build some, people, some shock, stir up some shit.
Exactly, yeah.
Because there was like when he first mentioned it, it was when all sports started canceling, like professional sports. NBA was the first one, and then college basketball, whatever. And he was saying, listen, like I'm going to hold my event no matter what. He was like, even if I have to get an island that's not in the US, I'm going to hold my fight. And then there was a lot of speculation, and he said it was going to happen, but he's not saying much about it. There's just been like little bits and pieces of it. So we were wondering if there was any more.
There's no Fight Island. They're having the next two fights. They're having a fight every weekend for the next like 4 weeks.
Yeah, we saw that.
But they're in Florida right now. So right now they're having fights in Jacksonville, and then next week they have another fight in Florida. And the following week, and then Caitlin Chikagian, who I was just telling you, she's fight. They booked her a fight, but it says TBD, to be determined where it's going to be. So she's fighting in 3 weeks, and she doesn't even know where it is. But it's not going to be Fight Island. They assured her that it's not going to be Fight Island.
Yeah, because I read a little bit about it today, and I saw that Dana White was kind of using it for like international fighters.
Yeah,
like, right. They can't go into the US, so like they're just he's just like kind of like setting up a location to where there's
it sounds like an amazing idea, but who knows if that's gonna go down,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's
freaking cage fight right on the beach. Like
but I mean, essentially, like what does the difference make for us? We're gonna be sitting in our living room watching the fight. We don't care, what does the difference make if it's down the block or if it's in an island or it's in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
It's gonna look like a fight. It's all the same,
Yeah. All right. Dan?
So we got UFC 249 is coming up tomorrow. There's a bunch of fights. The most shocking one to me was I randomly found out that the ex-defensive end for the Cowboys is in the UFC now, which apparently I was the only person that didn't know that. But we got a couple heads. So, Andrew, you seem to know quite a bit more about the UFC than I do. So why don't you start us off with the 249 card?
I mean, the biggest fight, I I love Henry Cejudo. I want Henry Cejudo to beat Dominic Cruz tomorrow. But the Tony Ferguson fight, against Gaethje, that's going to be huge. And the Jeremy Stevens fight, that's actually That's the one where everyone knows him because McGregor destroyed him in that press conference.
Who the fuck is this guy?
But yeah, Greg Hardy, like Dan mentioned, he's the former Cowboys defensive end, which obviously not many people know about. That's really just to show you that like there's so many people in the UFC and there's so many people that actually fight that like aren't the big names like Conor McGregor and stuff like that. That's why like honestly, to be real like general, most of the fighters really get no notoriety, and it's good to watch like the prelims. Give like fighters like yourself, Ryan, like because when people see like obviously there's so many fighters to try and watch and like narrow down in the UFC, and like when you see someone like you look at the record, you see your record, it's 7 decisions. That's a lot of hard work. You fought through the whole fight. Then they're just looking for knockouts, which you had in the beginning, but then you got the UFC. That's why just trying to figure out like who to pick. That's I just feel like people just should respect like prelims and all those fighters too, because most people just don't even watch. You just watch the main card at like 10 o'clock.
Right.
But I'm excited to watch tomorrow's fight. You guys
so
watching it?
I'm gonna try to watch it.
I gotta try and convince my parents.
Yeah,
they control the upstairs TV, and I don't have a cable box right now, so
Oh,
that'll be tough. Because when my mom hears the words UFC, she like shuts her eyes and runs in the other direction. But
maybe Ryan could convince him a little bit.
Yeah. So I would like Ryan. Who's your favorites for tomorrow's fights? Let's start with
let's start with Cowboy. Cowboy and Pettis. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Pettis killed him the first time they fought, so I would assume that he'd kill him again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows? Cowboys either comes out and he's on fire and kills the guy, or he gets his ass kicked. But he, being that he got killed by McGregor in like 15 seconds last fight, I'd say he's going to get killed by Pettis again.
Yeah.
I have a quick question that I brought up, before the show started, and I wanted to. Do you think Cowboy threw that fight against McGregor? Because it seemed like he got his check signed.
I was there for that. No, I just think that he's traditionally known as a slow starter. That's if you watch any of his fights, he always opens the fight very flat. And McGregor is the opposite. He always starts the fight,
coming
hard.
at you.
Yeah, he's coming right at you.
He's powerful. He hits hard, and he, I think he shocked him early, and then I just think he flattened him. I don't think he's throwing now.
All right.
Yeah, Ryan, real quick. Cowboy said like there was like quote unquote like he said he was like he didn't want to fight. He like showed up like he didn't want to fight that like he wasn't himself. Like has that ever happened to you? Like when you entered like
of course.
fight night?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to say this, but even that fight in Long Island, I remember just being like, I just want to get the fuck out of here. I remember like just fighting that fight just to get my hand raised and get out of there and get my paycheck. I wasn't like, I didn't really care about beating the other guy. I just wanted to get my hand raised. I just remember like laying on top of the guy being like, only 10 more minutes left.
Man, just wants to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously that didn't work out. It didn't work out for Cerrone. This isn't a game that, it's not a game, it's fighting, it's not football. You can't have an off day. You have an off day. You pay for it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
All right. We got two title bouts tomorrow. The first we got the bantamweight title bout. Henry Cejudo and Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, Cejudo. Yeah.
Cejudo. Who do you have? Sorry, my bad.
I don't know because Cruz like only fights like once every 2 years. Cruz, I think if he's in his pinnacle shape, he kills Cejudo. He's a lot bigger than him too. He's a big 135er, and Cejudo is like a small, he's a 125er really.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Cejudo is more in his prime. I'd probably give it to Henry.
Gotcha.
And then you got the lightweight. You got the lightweight Tony Ferguson versus.
I'm going Ferguson all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put your money on that one. And I also like Vicente Luque, who is a very good friend of mine. He's fighting Nico Price. Put my money on Vicente as well.
All right. If we got any gamblers in here, listen to the show. You got your picks. It's going to be a week late, but you got your picks for next time.
Right.
So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about UFC wise with Ryan?
No, not that I can really think of.
Maybe something.
Hey, I have one thing, Ryan. I just want to know, when did you actually start? Like, what age did you start like getting serious about it and like wanted to start like, yo, I can actually make a career out of this? Because like my boy wants to do it, and he's been working hard. And also, like, how do your parents react when you went to him? You're like, guys, I want to do UFC full time and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good question. So I wrestled, my whole life, like I said, and then I wrestled in college too. So what happened was I was wrestling in college, and a lot of guys were getting into it in college, but and then I ended up getting hurt pretty badly in college. So then I had to pull out. I couldn't wrestle anymore because I ruptured my spleen snowboarding, and then so then I started doing jiu-jitsu. I'd say I was about 18. I was a sophomore in college. So I was like 19.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing jiu-jitsu pretty hard, like as soon as I got better. And then I transferred over to Farmingdale. I think
that's where we all
Rams.
Go. Rams.
So I played lacrosse at Farmingdale, and then I finished my 4 years at Farmingdale. So like while I was at Farmingdale, I was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened a clothing line. I started this clothing line called KTFO. It's called Knock the Fuck Out Clothing Line.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was badass. You guys should check it out. It's like I
definitely will.
Like, all like the big names like Chuck Liddell and Rich Franklin and all these guys.
Oh shit,
that's awesome. That's so cool.
So like I got involved with it really hard then, even before I was fighting. So then as soon as I graduated, I was like, yo, I'm going at it. So I graduated from Farmdale in like 2006, and I had like my first fight in 2007, and fucking
that's awesome.
Rap ever since.
That's so cool.
How'd your parents react? Were they just used to?
I mean, so it was funny. I fought this big black kid. My first fight was like in an underground fight. It was like, it wasn't legal in New York, and so that what they did is I went to the Bronx, and they had a gym in the Bronx. The streets of the Bronx, and when they close the gym, they take those steel curtains and they close the front.
Yeah.
So they put everybody in the gym and they close the freaking steel curtains.
That's sketchy. Oh my.
That's insane. That's awesome though. That's all.
There was no weigh-ins or nothing, and the dude I fought was wearing like weightlifting gloves, a big black dude. And I came out of freaking like a white supremacist. Not that I'm racist, but I looked. I had a mohawk and shit, and I was like pale white, And
looking like a badass.
Yeah, and the guy was like 10 pounds heavier than me, and I just like fucked him up in like 30 seconds. And my mom was there, and she's like, "All right, you can do this."
She came with you. That's pretty cool.
You can do this. You got her sold on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more thing from me. I always find like the training, like for whether it be boxing or UFC, like I find it to be very just unorthodox from any other sport at all. Like, is there any like unorthodox training that maybe that you did?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's still like a really new sport. So like,
exactly,
we're still learning it. So like at my level right now, like even when I was coming up, it was like I had a wrestling coach, I had a jiu-jitsu coach, I had a striking coach, I had I had a strength and conditioning coach. So like even when I was coming up, there was no such thing as like an all-around coach. But now, like I'm retired fighting. The next wave is coming up, and I'm the head coach, and I'm showing them how to do everything. So like and I think essentially, like what you said, it's really important to like no one's gonna fight exactly how I fight, So I think it's just kind of like let people do what the fuck they want to do, and kind of like
do your own thing.
And then you pick up, you say, okay, well that's not gonna work. You keep doing that, or this, or you add stuff to the game, or you take stuff away from their game, and you develop fighters that way.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Any other questions for Ryan?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah. Well, dude,
I'm
thank you so much.
But I had a blast, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, definitely.
We appreciate it.
Awesome. It was awesome. To all the viewers, once this whole pandemic is over, make sure you go to Long Island MMA and go check out Ryan and all that he offers.
Bar.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, so go check that out. Ryan, once again, thank you for joining us. It was awesome.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you so much.
See you later, bro.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right. That's our first guest right there.
That was successful.
Yo,
That was great.
awesome.
Sorry, I made really dumb fucking questions, but like.
Yeah. No, you're good, Ryan. You're good.
No, dude.
That
That's
was awesome. Like for the viewers listening, just so you guys know, like that is Ryan Laflare. Like he's not putting on an act to seem like just cool for a podcast. Like I know him on like a pretty personal level. He lives across the street from me. Like we hang out a lot. He's just like a really cool, down to earth guy who's just like he's just one of the guys, and he's like I would definitely recommend you guys go if you're trying to get in shape. Like he knows how to do it. Like go check out his gyms, and he also knows what how to run businesses and stuff like that, and he's connected with a lot of people. So go check out his kava bar. I will find out the official name of it, and we will let you guys know for when quarantine ends to go check it out and have a good time over there.
Yeah. But also if you want us to have other guests on, let us know. Maybe like you can help us get in contact with them and everything. It's all about connections and everything, and you guys coming in and helping us too by engaging with us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Am I missing anything?
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. Remember
Spotify.
Instagram. Yeah, Instagram, Twitter is at Long Island at LI Schmucks. Facebook is at Long Island Schmucks. And then YouTube is Long Island Schmucks. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, turn on post notifications. We got some more stuff to talk about here today. Ain't over. Some big stuff. Yeah, it ain't over. When we have a guest on, we talk about the other stuff that us schmucks usually talk about. So
I think we're gonna get into Outer Banks right now. What do we think about that?
Outer Banks. Outer Banks is obviously the hottest show on Netflix right now. It's great. I'm not just saying that because of the show. I'm saying that because of Madeline Klein.
I was gonna say, is that pun intended?
I've also reached out to Chase Stokes to try to get him on here. That would be an absolute dream come true. It's a real long shot, but it'd be freaking awesome.
Hey, you never know.
Listen, you got to take your shots.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Exactly.
Dan, that was actually really good, Dan. I'm so happy.
Welcome.
Okay, so what do we think of the show? I freaking loved it from start to finish.
So I watched that show. Like I started watching that show, and I was hooked from the first episode to the last episode. And I personally, like, I'm not a huge crier. Like I fucking fractured my patella tendon or like my kneecap or something playing football with you guys. And I played on it for a month and a half, like re-fractured it playing volleyball and just walked off the court. But like that show, the last episode, I was bawling. I was like hysterically crying when the boat flipped over and when Pope and Key and JJ were screaming at Shoop.
Sorry guys, spoiler warning.
Yeah, spoiler warning there. When they were screaming at Shoop, I was hysterically crying. Like I couldn't contain it. There was just something about it. Like that's how good the show is.
Yeah, well, like the show, and even like I watched like a ton of behind the scenes things, and the actors really convince you that there's a real friendship there and everything. And I think that's what makes the show the best is I feel like it's so genuine.
Yeah, because you see them all like hanging out like outside the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
on all their social media accounts, like you see it, and it's so natural. Like I even watched the actress who played Key, Madison Bailey. She said in an interview like some of the shots that they took, like at like the beginning when they were like when they were like introducing each character, like some of those shots they didn't even know the camera was there. It was just them like just vibing with each other.
That's like, pretty cool, honestly.
That's so sick.
Shows you how so true cool. that they became how close they became during the making of the show.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's not common either.
No, it's not. It's not. It's only on a couple shows that like here and there that you'll get that like full on like real chemistry between people. They were even like the producer I heard was even thinking about doing like actual 16-year-olds.
So that was my only thing about the show that I personally didn't like was Madeline Klein's 22. I don't know how old Chase Stokes is.
He's 27. He's
27 years old.
He's 27.
And you portray him as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
That was the see, they didn't look 16.
No, they didn't.
I think they did. I think they did.
That was the only thing I didn't like. You could have had them be 20, Sarah in the show, Madeline Klein could have been like, in UNC Chapel Hill. And, Chase could have been like, just like, didn't go to college, JJ didn't go to college. Key was in college. Pope was in college, and they were home for the summer, something like that, kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, that could have made sense. Yeah,
but like
I think they still did a great job with it. I'm super excited for season 2 to come out. I think they were filming it and it got halted because of this whole virus. But I'm definitely excited for season 2 to come out. They left it on a great note. So definitely left it on a great note. Everybody's gonna be so excited to come back and watch.
So I mean, I've heard like a lot of like different things, like of when like different dates of when the show could be coming out. I've heard
it's up in the air now.
I've heard December 2020 was the earliest. January or even could be. Oh, is that Papa Kylie? Oh my gosh, we got another guest. Yes.
Another guest.
I love it.
Give us our guest, baby.
Oh man.
And then that's Ryan. He doesn't have a camera.
Who's the guy with the mask?
The cheap guy that can't afford a camera.
I love this.
My name is Ryan.
Who's the guy with the mask?
This is great.
My name is Ryan also. So.
Hang on. We're putting
Ryan.
Misty, come here. We got 3 guests now because
we got the pooch coming on too.
Are you getting your dog in here? What are you doing?
She's already in here.
How are we doing, Mr. Kylie?
Good. How are we doing?
Good.
All right. We're hanging in there.
We're doing good. Hanging in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody safe? Family's good?
Everyone's safe. Yeah, everyone's good. I miss you telling me I miss you saying to me like, fuck you when I come in the house, honestly. I miss it. I miss it. It was a part of my life. I miss that interaction.
I'm so desperate for reality.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Oh my
Everybody's
God.
well? Your families are doing good?
Everyone is well. Everyone's doing good. Yeah.
Good. Say my best to everybody, right?
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Kylie.
you so much.
All right, guys.
Later.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll get together soon.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
All right, so for our viewers, that was Dan's dad,
Thanks to
Mr.
Papa
Kylie.
for the big old special guest.
Yes, you're on it.
He's the
Get outta
best.
here.
He's the best. Yes, we're recording.
Should the current topic be Dan Kylie's father?
Yes.
Sure.
Wait, do we have to
We'll include it in the bio. But back to Outer Banks. Back to Outer Banks. I got like cut off at that. But what are we thinking for season 2?
I think.
Where do we see each character going?
So they're gonna end up in Bimini, right? That's where they were going. Bimini, I believe.
Bahamas.
Nassau,
the Bahamas.
Okay. Bimini's in Bahamas, Greg, but still the Bahamas. Nassau. They're going to Nassau, Bahamas.
Nassau, Bahamas. There.
So I think they're gonna somehow get some gold, get some money, stay at Atlantis, and then they're gonna try and smuggle the gold back to the United States.
You think?
Yep.
No.
Or
So
find a way to connect with Key, Pope, and JJ and get them to come over to Nassau.
Okay, so here's what I think. So obviously, like you have John B. and Sarah Cameron going to Nassau, so they have to try to make it the whole way to Nassau without maybe revealing who they actually are, because who knows who that crew could be. The crew on the boat, like,
well, they're just a regular boat,
but you don't know. That's the thing. Like you don't actually know, because they could be maybe
wrong.
working with Ward Cameron. Maybe Ward Cameron was smart and split up the gold, and was like, "Hey, I'll put some on a boat, and then put some in the plane." Who knows?
Those international cargo ships don't work like that, though.
It's a freaking show.
I know
it's Hollywood.
Show.
It's Hollywood.
I know it's a show, but I don't think so. I definitely see them just getting them to Nassau. They stay there.
Yeah.
So
that'll be a cool way to open up the show too.
Definitely
them going to Nassau.
That's where they're going.
Yeah.
Here's what I think happens.
Yeah.
I think they get to Nassau.
Yeah.
They reach out to, like you said, Will, they reach out to Pope, they reach out to
JJ,
Key, and they reach out to JJ. And they get them there, right? But then all of a sudden, I can't remember his name. The psycho dad who killed
Ward Cameron. Ward Cameron.
So Ward Cameron somehow finds out, because like he's rich. There's probably a lot of like, other English speaking people around him in Nassau. Find out, shit, my daughter's alive and she's there with John B. He's going to go down there, and it's going to be a whole nother thing of him trying to kill John B with a gaff and people shooting at him left and right because they're going to find out that all the gold is there. Like, that show took a hard turn. When they found John B's dad's compass, they just started getting shot at every 10 minutes. It was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, no, but also like the whole like JJ Kia and Pope, like they're home and they think that John B and Sarah are dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's say they don't get into communication because they don't want to call home, and maybe that call gets traced.
No, so here's what's gonna happen.
Wait.
All right, go ahead.
So John B and Sarah are in Nassau. The like JJ, Pope, and Key are still home, but what if they're like that whole relationship? John B was the guy who kept them together. He was the glue that held that group together. What if they all just like kind of go there, like almost like drift off? And then John B comes back and they have to find that whole like relationship again.
But he can't come back. He's a wanted fugitive.
So now he can come back, but like
why would he?
So also I would like to see the season open on Ward Cameron like getting interrogated.
Yeah, so he's not wanted anymore. He's not wanted anymore. At the end, when John B went over the radio and explained everything.
Yeah.
Like, if he was running, he wouldn't lie about it like that. Like, if he was fully going into a storm, like preparing to most likely die, he's not going to lie at that moment. Like, he's going to tell the truth. So after he confesses all that, you heard Shoop. He like turned. He was like, "We're going to need to bring you into questioning," and then like everything else happened. So I don't think he's the main wanted person anymore. But he doesn't.
I don't think he may not be wanted in season 2. He's going to be a suspect without a doubt, but Ward Cameron is now a suspect in that. Like,
yep.
Also, you think about like all the other shit that John B pulled. Like, he stole a cop car, he assaulted a bunch of people. Like, he has a bunch of other crimes like on him that like.
But you know
what's gonna happen with those?
You know what? He might get immunity if if the information he gave over the radio helps lead to the 2 murders, his dad's murder. All that kind of stuff. But so the thing is, you got to remember the show's called Outer Banks, right?
Yeah.
So if the whole next season takes place in Nassau, it kind of,
I don't think the whole season is going to take place in Nassau.
It diminishes the whole point of the name of the show.
I don't think it's all going to take place in Nassau. I think it may be like one of those. It's going to become one of those series where it switches between like 2 different locations. Like, they'll film Nassau, but then they'll film Charleston. Like, that's where they film. They film in Charleston, South Carolina. But that's also like, that may also be the reason why they could come out with it in January 2020 or December, because they could film the beginning in Nassau when all these travel restrictions are kind of like changed up, and like
not even that. It's warmer down there.
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, like they could even do that and like kind of switch in the series. But I'm looking forward to season 2 and everything. So
yeah, all right, let's wrap this up in like 2 more minutes. So I think that they're gonna connect with JJ, Pope, and Key through a sat phone.
Yeah, you think?
Dan knows what I'm talking about by sat phone. Andrew, I'm sure does with the Firehouse.
Mm-hmm.
They're not cheap. All those international cargo ships have them. They probably have a few of them.
Yeah. Is that like something that like can't be traced?
I'm sure it can, but like it's not like a traditional way of calling someone. They're very expensive. They're like a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
It's very expensive to use them. Like just calling, like it's it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think that's how they're going to reach them. They're not just going to say over the radio,
oh yeah,
hey, we're here. Because again, they're wanted. They're probably on a U.S. ship. I don't know. It's going to definitely be interesting. Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of leaks though.
Yeah. I can't wait. And then one last thing on the Outer Banks, and then we'll move on to maybe some Giannis or
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas, because that's crazy. So favorite episode in Outer Banks? Go, Will.
I think when they go to UNC Chapel Hill.
Episode 4. Dude. Applaud you. I love that episode. That episode is great.
You know, it's
I live for Sarah Cameron and John B.
It's when she's really like introduced to the show, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
And she's really brought in, and it's just an exciting show for them to go to such a big time college. It shows like how her money like gets her in, and how like she's like, oh, I'll sugar mommy you and stuff like that.
Man,
it's just funny. And then I would probably have to say like, I don't know. Every episode after that is good because you're so
really good too.
You're so suspenseful to like, okay, where's the gold? What's gonna happen with the gold?
Yeah.
They find the episode where they find the gold, and then like
and get shot at by the girl who's blind as a bat.
Yeah, right. Like I think every episode after that was definitely really good. Not that the beginning ones weren't good. I just think episode 4.
I thought every episode was really good.
Yeah, I just thought episode 4 was like where it really just like took off.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Dan, how about you?
It's between Chapel Hill and just the last episode where you finally see them like get out of that situation, and then you find out they die, and then you find out they're alive again. So
pretty crazy.
It's between
plot twists.
Yeah. I would love. It would be my dream to get one of these cast members on this, but that'd be awesome. Earl Thomas. Crazy shit.
Dude, that is like the craziest modern day NFL story that I've ever heard. Like,
it's definitely
insane.
Interesting.
So Andrew, give a little rundown on what happened with Earl Thomas.
All right. So honestly, we're all as sports fans, we're chomping at the bit for anything. Honestly,
exactly.
These are the two big stories we have. So Earl Thomas, he was. In my head. I actually just pulled up another article that was published 4 hours ago, but apparently his wife allegedly held him at gunpoint. Honestly, I don't know what to feel about this, but the article I'm reading right now, he apparently, did you guys know he was gifted a flashy necklace by his wife?
No.
Really?
No. Yeah. Gifted flashy necklace by wife after she allegedly held him at gunpoint. Report. Nice.
She gave him a gift after he slept with a bunch of women.
Chick's crazy.
It's called a flashy necklace, which could mean anything. I don't know. But, he just turned 31. But the biggest things, honestly, it's a crazy story. But the biggest thing right now, Earl Thomas is up for a contract. And will it affect his contract? Will he get cut by the Ravens? What do you guys think?
I don't think so.
I literally just pulled up an article as you were saying that. And the Ravens, from the New York Post, the Ravens are currently trying to cut Earl Thomas.
Yeah. No way.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
For cheating?
No,
it's not just cheating.
It just brings bad media.
The whole story.
It brings negative media.
That's what they're saying. It doesn't. I don't really know.
Come on.
It is the Baltimore Ravens. Like, negative media has surrounded them forever. Like Ray Lewis,
alleged murder,
may or may not have murdered someone.
Right.
You can't get away.
Then you could also talk about like Big Ben punching a girl in the face. You know,
Big Ben might be a clinical psychopath.
He allegedly sexually assaulted a girl.
Like a million times.
Allegedly punched a girl in the face. Like, he was never cut. He was never suspended.
That would be ridiculous if they cut Earl Thomas.
I don't think they will. At the end of the day, I do not think he's going to get cut.
The thing
he's an unbelievable talent.
The thing is is there any such thing as bad publicity? Like, I mean,
yes. In the NFL, in sports,
so that would really get him cut. Like, from
the team. In the NFL.
No, Andrew,
that's not going to get
Washington Capitals.
Like, flash to Antonio Brown.
We're talking bad about a guy's wife.
Yep.
Yeah, flash to AB. He allegedly sexually harassed someone, and Bill Belichick said, "Get the hell out of my locker room."
Yeah, but he actually did something that was like illegal. Earl Thomas did nothing illegal. Yeah. His wife did. His crazy ass wife did.
That's like,
not him. Him.
That's like saying Tom Brady has a friend that kills people, you know?
Exactly.
Why would Tom Brady get cut from the, match?
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. But so the full story about this is, I don't know if you guys have heard the full story or if the viewers haven't. So what had happened was, it was like 3-ish in the morning or something like that, and she didn't know where her husband was. So she decides to log into the guy's Snapchat account, and she pinpoints his location. So then She grabs a gun.
Wild.
Her sister grabs a knife, and they drive. They drive to where he's at, and him and his brother are having an orgy together. Like each of them, like they're like,
way,
dude,
bro.
I swear, they're right next to each other, just like ass naked, just going at it. So like you got like this situation evolves when you hear that. You got Earl Thomas ass naked, his brother ass naked, two girls. PG
Still, it ain't illegal though. Nothing about that is illegal.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying PG.
Bad publicity.
Right.
And then you got his wife and his sister-in-law pulling up, one with a gun to his head and the other with a knife, standing there ready to go. Like, what situation is this? This is unbelievable. This is like what you have a bad dream about.
Okay, so the thing is who the fuck? This is my thing. Who the fuck would like tag team some girls with their blood-related brother? Like, I mean,
that's a little messed up.
Like, that's weird. A little like, that's what weird. The fuck?
That's a little messed up.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a little bit of CTE going on.
Everyone's got a little CTE going on these days.
All right, whatever.
Do you guys know what Earl Thomas had to say about this matter?
I'm sorry.
Quote unquote, it's really not anybody's business. It pisses me off that the story got out, and then instead of talking about us, just keep us in y'all prayers.
And all he kept saying on like his Instagram live video was like, I'm just trying to get in front of this one. I'm just trying. It's like, no, you're not trying. You are failing because this story was so far in front of you.
Yeah.
Like if a story comes out that you're having, like, take away the gunpoint thing. If you're just right next to your brother, just kind of going at it, like, you're not getting in front of that. Like, there's no way you can get in front of it.
Yeah, it's just
and
weird.
Then you add in a gun. It's just like.
But how do things just change? How does she just give him a necklace probably worth a good chunk of change?
Dude,
probably worth a lot of money.
Dude, the woman is insane. That's it. The woman's insane. You gotta cut her off. Just cut her off. That's all you gotta do.
It's like Jay Cutler.
Say, see ya, and that's it. Exactly. Just Jay Cutler. Just clean break.
She wanted $5 million for a house, and he's like, "Go get a job."
God damn.
It's
gonna make me buy a Jay Cutler jersey.
All right. So that's enough of Earl Thomas talk. The other story right now in sports, again, we're chomping at the bit for anything. Giannis, his Twitter account got
hacked.
His Twitter,
What's up, Steph Curry?
His email and his bank accounts were all hacked. And he put out his I didn't even know. I thought it was just his Twitter.
See, his kid that did it.
All of them got hacked. The phone, the email, the bank accounts, and his Twitter all got hacked.
It was like some 17-year-old kid with like 120 followers on Twitter.
Anyone can do it these days, and unfortunately, it's someone as big as Giannis, like that has all those people that follow him. Like, it can destroy someone. Good thing he got it back so quick. Yeah, he put out that apology text to everyone. He's like, "I'm back," and everyone like, "Hey, everybody!" Like in classic Giannis, what he does.
Yeah, and like, and Giannis wouldn't do that. Like that's the thing. Like he would never do that. Like, there's been no history of him doing that. I can see Kevin Durant doing that. But
fake Twitter,
freaking snake,
makes a fake Twitter account.
Yeah, exactly. But I that's the thing. Like I can't see Giannis like doing that. He seems like such like a good person. Like he stays out of media really as much as possible. Like he's never like a negative headline at all. He's never a negative headline. So that's whoever did that is a scumbag. Is a schmuck. Yeah, so
I was going through the feeds, and like literally like 10 minutes after they found out who did it, bro, people were sending the kid's address. They were like, "Oh, this is a nice neighborhood that you live in." Bro, it's like 6843 like Alabama Avenue. I'll pull it up right now in 2 seconds.
Dude, if you read some of these tweets, like we can't even say 99% of them on the air. They're horrible. It's like they're like racial slurs, like he's attacking people through the like Giannis'
pretty messed up.
He was making fun of Kobe's dad.
6653 Alabama Avenue is the kid's address. Nice house, you little shit. Someone put this thing up. Oh, it's not focusing.
Yeah, I can't see it. Put him in a body bag.
That's hilarious.
Put him in a body bag.
They're like, "What's good, homie? You ready?"
Another thing about Giannis too, which is it could potentially be a big story now that, especially since we don't know what the hell is going on with the NBA. Giannis, I believe his contract is up after this season. And the Warriors apparently have been making a 2020-2021 season, his contract expires. So one more season. The Warriors have been planning for, they say, quote unquote, years to make a big, hard run at Giannis.
This has been known.
So, if he doesn't win a championship next year, I could see him being ready to leave because the Bucks haven't gotten many, like a big supporting cast around him. They got Chris Middleton, who finally became an all-star. He's a good player. But if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're competitive. All you want to do is win, and you are one of the, if not the best player in the NBA right now. Are you going to want to play with Chris Middleton and Bledsoe, or are you going to go play with Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry?
Well, that's the thing with Giannis is that
ring chaser.
You see all these other like powerhouse teams in the NBA. There's at least 2 superstars, at least 2. Giannis doesn't really have another superstar.
He doesn't have a superstar.
I wouldn't consider Chris Middleton a superstar.
No,
he's
a quality.
That's the thing, though. Like, he doesn't have another superstar, but for Giannis's game, that team is perfect.
Yes,
that's the thing. Like, the team is perfectly structured.
He wouldn't fit in well with the Warriors, I feel like.
Last year, really, like, the only superstar on Toronto was Kawhi. Like, I wouldn't consider Kyle Lowry like this superstar. Like,
I think I would.
I would.
And Pascal Siakam, yes, he was good, but like he wasn't considered a superstar.
No.
And Kyle Lowry, yes, he's been in the league. He's just a veteran presence. That's the thing. Like I would just consider him a veteran presence. It's not like he scored like a shit ton in the finals or even over the season.
He actually had a few off games during the playoffs.
Exactly. Like it's not like he was just. It was really, I thought it was just Kawhi and a bunch of role players that played really well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you have going on in Milwaukee. Like, you just have Giannis and a bunch of role players that play really well amongst him because it fits his game. Because Giannis just basically stays in the paint all day. Like, that's where his game lives. Like,
so the reason I think it would work is because you have like 2 main guys who are going to handle the ball for the Golden State Warriors. You got Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Klay Thompson helps, but he's not a point guard. He mainly sits in the corner and catches and shoots because he's deadly. But you got Draymond Green, he's not going to score a lot of points. He's not a scoring guy. He's a defensive rebounding, and he's a playmaker. As weird as it is to say, a guy at his size, he's a great playmaker. He can pass, he can call pick and rolls, he can dribble. And then you got Steph Curry, who's the best ball handler and, a great passer, everything.
Yeah.
So we were worried about the whole Kevin Durant thing because it was like, can they really afford to add another shooter into this already incredible 3-point shooting line?
I mean, I was worried, but
but that was the thing that was like very commonly talked about. It was like, can they really fit another elite shooter into this shooting lineup? Because it's just people are gonna be begging for the ball, and it worked. So now when you consider Giannis being basically a 7-footer, with insane athleticism, speed, jumping ability. You put him in a pick and roll situation with Curry handling the ball, and Giannis, if Giannis can develop, like he's been working on his 3-point shot. We saw it last year. He was shooting it more. He was feeling more confident. If he can suddenly run a pick and roll with Steph Curry or Draymond Green, and you can run him with like a pick and fade, and he just like takes one step out off the pick behind the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Give the guy one pump fake and drive hard. Like that's gonna be an unstoppable offense.
Oh no, well I mean it's no doubt that it would be unstoppable. Like Giannis is a specimen, and honestly you could put anyone into the Warriors offense, and like any superstar at all, no matter who they are. LeBron would even work in that because of the way that the game is played in Golden State. Everyone is touching the ball. Everyone, it's ball movement heavy. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone can work in that offense. I mean, there's no doubt that if Giannis was there, it would be absolutely unstoppable. But I couldn't stand seeing the Warriors win like freaking 4 more championships with that guy there.
And if you think about it too, it becomes even more deadly because they have a first-round draft pick. Like, and they're
exactly like they're probably going to get. They're going to probably either get Wiseman, Edwards, or Wiseman. Like that.
They're probably going to get Wiseman.
That's what they're going to do. So,
dude, it's unbelievable.
Wiseman could be their big guy if they don't get Giannis.
Yeah, possibly.
That's very true.
Wiseman could be their big guy.
Talking about unbelievable, we're going to move on from this one. Elon Musk.
Yeah, well, Elon Musk. What's the guy doing?
Elon Musk is having a moment right now, fellas. All right?
Yeah.
Having a moment,
What does that
right?
mean?
Did the guy have a small stroke?
Possibly.
Did he smell burnt toast?
His wife tweeted like the explanation of like the kid's name.
Yeah, do you know it or no?
What is it?
I don't know it. It didn't make sense.
It makes sense to me, and I'll explain. I don't know the X part, so
the X is the variable in just all math equations that has no number. Like it's just the X variable.
Okay, so the X variable is the X variable, right? That's what the X stands for. The AE is a special character. It's AE combined, right? And that stands for AI. The A12 is the only thing that Elon Musk made up in that name. The wife Grimes, which is an electronic arts music maker. She's a producer. She's somewhat well known. I don't know if she's gotten really big hits, but anyway, so she made up basically the front part of the name. Elon made the A12 up. And the A12 stands for I think one of the the aircrafts that came out after
Yes, it's one of his aircraft or something like that.
No, it's not his aircraft, but it's like there's some military aircraft that he absolutely loves.
Oh, the precursor to SR-17.
Yeah, yes, the SR-17 is a beautiful aircraft. That's the one with it's totally black. It looks like a Falcon.
No weapons, no defense, just speed.
Yeah, it's just.
Yo, Will, you on CNN Entertainment right now, bud?
I am on CNN right now. Yeah.
There, bud.
Someone fucking crucify me. I'm on CNN.
Yeah, I don't know if I could get behind that right now.
Get off CNN.
Yeah, the A is Archangel, which is my favorite song.
Her favorite song.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it the A12? Because I remember I was watching the Elon Musk. He was on Joe Rogan. Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan today, I believe. And I was watching that, and he was explaining what the name was, and he was explaining what his part was. Right? What's up?
That's like they were joking around on like Twitter how to pronounce it, and someone was like, "It's pronounced Rachel."
Wait, how?
I don't know.
It's just like a joke. Like someone was just like messing around.
Oh, okay.
They were like, "Oh, how do you pronounce that?"
It's like X-Ash.
Like
it's XAI. So it's like pronounced Ash, but it's AI.
Now there's there's controversy with this name because in California, it's the law that your name has to be 26 letters of the American alphabet.
Really?
Yes, and the kid was born in California, I think.
Oh boy!
So the number creates like a whole different, and like the symbol creates like
another stupid law in California.
Dude, this is why
easy, Greg.
I fucking hate California.
Maybe someone could back up my information. Maybe give us a little bit of a reassurance, but.
Hold on.
Imagine he takes the 12 and literally spells out 12. Like that'd be some funny shit though.
But like, how do you even penalize that? Like, when you go to his house, knock on his door, and be like, "Oh, you're arrested for naming your kid."
They're putting the baby in.
Will, you are correct. Will, you are correct.
It's
in California.
Listen, man.
California state rules calls for name that only use 26 alphabetical characters for the English language. No numbers, special characters, or dash can be used for names.
Now look up if the kid was born in California.
So. How do you like go to a hospital, right? You have your baby and you're like, I want to name it XE8-12, and the doctor's is like, we can't do that for you, sir. This is California.
Well, when you make a lot of money,
California's
kind of do whatever the fuck you want.
California's fighting it, and I just looked it up. California's fighting it.
Really? That's so stupid. Why can't they just?
Of course they would.
That's the law. California
that's
fighting
the law that
they're fighting. Greg, hold on, Greg. Is California fighting the law, or are they fighting the name?
I don't know, honestly. Either way, listen. Either way, it's probably the most pointless thing on the face of the planet. But
that's the time.
It wouldn't surprise me that California would be doing that.
How much is Elon Musk worth? How much is he worth, guys?
Elon Musk worth
millions.
Billion, isn't it billions?
$39.6 billion.
Billions.
Yeah, billions.
I don't get what's up with these famous.
He's gonna make a generous donation to the Democrats of California, and it's all.
Probably.
Okay. Right, no, fun.
All right, so
probably.
Will, you see this rug? Swept
right under the rug. Is a generous donation of $10 million.
Elon Musk's the name is odd, but I don't think it beats Kim and Kanye's baby.
Dude, I'm not. We're not talking about this. I hate those two people.
Northwest.
It's famous people, man. Dude, it's famous people.
It's not all famous people.
Yes, it is.
It's not all famous people, though.
Stop.
Dude, the guy from Coldplay decided to name their daughter Apple. Like, what?
Yeah, no, that's pretty shot, though. That's pretty
Come
shot.
on, man.
Are they gay?
Dude, but nothing is worse than North.
Wait, he's the guy from Coldplay's married to Gwyneth Paltrow, bro.
Yeah, they named their kid Apple.
And Gwyneth Paltrow's shot too, bro. Like Gwyneth Paltrow's got some stupid company.
But imagine
that makes me want to like go there and just burn the whole thing down. Like, no, FBI, CIA, whatever the fuck's listening to this. Don't worry, I'm not burning the place down. But guess what? The place needs to be burned down.
Imagine growing up being named North, Saint, Sam, or Chicago.
Dude.
Can you imagine?
Dude, it's all famous people. That's how it is.
I don't give it. I don't.
Yeah, but dude, there's something about the Kardashians. Like,
oh no, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, the Kardashians just pissed me off.
Yo, what's up, Chicago? What up,
man?
How do you dap Chicago?
How'd you get the name Chicago? Did you grow up in Chicago? Nah, I grew up in Beverly Hills. Yo, I'm mad privileged.
That's gonna be all the time for today.
Let's end it.
Remember to follow us on social media. Instagram, Twitter, at LI Schmucks, Facebook, at Long Island Schmucks. Remember to go to our YouTube, Long Island Schmucks. Subscribe, like, comment, turn on post notifications.
Do all of it.
Let us know what guests you want next and see if you can help us get
Yes. And
also send us videos of Schmucks. Yeah, big thank you to Ryan Laflare. Go follow his Instagram. It is Laflare, right?
I think it's
Laflare.
Let me check. It's Laflare, LAFLAREMMA.
Got it. Okay, so go follow that. That wraps episode 4. We'll be back next week with some more Long Island Schmucks. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
That's a wrap.